Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? It's Vincent here, and I'm going to be bringing you guys another album review, except this time it's a request. I am going to get to the stuff that you guys asked on my 100 sub video, but first I'm just going to do something that I'm most familiar with, and that is Gluey Porch Treatments by the Melvins, which is their debut record released in 1987. And there is a really cool dude on YouTube, and his name is I Have All Seeing Eyes, which is a badass yet somewhat threatening username. He is a fellow Melvins enthusiast. He loves the Melvins, as do I, and we always talk about what albums we like best and stuff like that. And he recommended I review this. I love this album so much that I made my own homemade shirt of it. And that is Gluey Porch Treatments by the Melvins. And, you know, I really don't know where to begin, seeing as the Melvins are one of the most interesting, creative, and overall best bands ever. Not only are they, like, incapable of making a bad album, but they will never sound like anybody else. That's the thing. They have a sound that's all their own. And in their early stages, they played a really slow, sludgy, dark, vile, sick-sounding form of metal. But there was a lot of punk influence, a lot of influence from punk, but describing their sound is almost impossible to pinpoint, and I think doing so, I think I've said this a couple times, diminishes the creativity of the band. So I'm not gonna bullshit, I'm not gonna say, well, they're this, but they turned into this. I'm just gonna get right into it. And the Melvins are known for having two core members that have stayed with, or that have stayed together for the entirety of the band's career, and that's singer and guitarist Buzz Osborne and drummer extraordinaire Dale Crover. I'll get to him in a little bit, because he is my favorite drummer of all time. But they are known for having a pretty big problem with bassists. They have not been able to keep a steady bassist up until 2006 and now. In 2006, they sided with Big Business to create like a Super Melvins, in which they had two drummers and one bassist that they kept for 6 years now. But just recently, they switched over to the whole Melvins Light thing, which, yeah, they're a really interesting band. Which, by the way, I don't know if I told you guys this. I don't think I did. I saw the Melvins in Toad's Place in Connecticut just this September, and it was awesome. And they opened up with the opener of this album, Eye Flies, and it was by far one of the best. Dude, I'm telling you, Buzz Osborne got this close to my face with his big light afro. It was fucking awesome. But I digress. So, yeah, on this album, interestingly enough, their bassist is Matt Lukin, who would actually go on to play with Mudhoney, another great band from around the same area that the Melvins are. But, yeah. So, Gluey Porch Treatments. The sound on this record is dark, oozing, gross, sick-sounding music. This album, people say it's really slow, which it can be slow, but the album has an interesting flow because songs like Eye Flies and Hito Moves and Eyes, Heaviness of the Load, what's the other song that's really slow? Damn it, In and Over from the Excrement, songs like that, really slow, really dense and heavy and thick. But then you get songs like Clipping Roses and Steve's Instant Newman, which are just little short bursts of punk, basically. So they still had a hardcore punk influence, which I think is great. I think that's awesome, that they can mix two totally different, styles and ways of playing into one cohesive record. The production on this album is very, very good. It fits the music really well. The guitar tone is really, really rich and thick. There's a lot of interesting feedback and distortion stuff going on here with Buzz's guitar. Buzz is an unbelievably innovative guitarist. He's done so many cool things and influenced so many people, and he's awesome. I love Buzz. The production on the bass, it's not as upfront as I would like it to be, but you can still hear it. So there's really not a huge problem there, and the drums sound really good. Dale Crover had a really nice drum sound. So, what you get are songs that range from, like, really long, like 6 minutes, to, like, 50 seconds. There's just a lot of different... The album does not have one set goal. It's like the band kind of had all these different influences, and they kind of synthesized them into one thing. The sound in general, like I said, is dark. A lot of the time, it's very plodding, very moody, very kind of sluggish. Like, a lot of the time the music just gets into this groove and it stays there for a very long time. And the whole album just sounds demented. Like, take a song like Our Flies. Starts off with a really creepy bass line, just a doom, boom, 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 boom for a couple seconds, and the toms come in the production has a lot of reverb. It's a very reverberated mix, but I think it sounds good and it helps the overall sound of the record. And then the feedback comes in, which is awesome to see live. Just a really interesting feedback tones start droning in. It's just this one continuous kind of drone, and then all of a sudden you hear Buzz starts choking his strings, and it just keeps building and building until it just explodes into this punkified explosion of riffs and really, really hard-hitting cymbals and drums and bass, and Buzz's vocals are just so angry and painful sounding, but the lyrics almost don't mean anything. In fact, I don't think Melvins, I don't know for sure, of course, because I'm not them, but I don't think any of their lyrics really have meaning to them, and if they do, they're extremely cryptic, but I don't want to make judgments because I'm not the band and I don't like their songs. So, and then, like I said, you get the shorter songs, which are oftentimes really punky, quick songs like Flex With You, where Buzz just spits out a couple verses and the song just ends, but still retaining that really heavy, sludgy tone. And then you get really progressive structures as well, like songs like He Don't Moves in Eyes, where the band's just kind of doing whatever they want. There's no set goal of like verse, chorus, bridge, end. Some of them do have that, but a lot of the time the band, there'll be like 3 little sections in each song, you know what I mean? So that's another interesting thing. Another thing is that the songs in general are just depraved sounding. But the funny thing about the Melvins, and one of my favorite parts about the Melvins, is that it's just natural. You're never like, wow, this guy is trying hard, you know what I mean, to sound scary or to sound whatever. The band just, it's like their natural reaction to play that way. You know what I mean? And they do a great job of it. Some certain highlights for me that I really enjoy. Like I said, Eye Flies, He Don't Moves in Eyes, Steve's Instant Newman is a great one, Heaviness of the Load, Leech is an awesome song, Glow God is a pretty awesome instrumental. One of the quick, shorter ones. Big as Mountain is sick. I think that was the first song I heard off the record on YouTube, and I love that song. That song's awesome. As It Was. Yeah, dude, this album is just filled with great songs. Just some of the most interesting music I've ever heard. It really is. There's no songs I dislike. I have my iPod right here just in case I forgot any songs. Influence of Atmosphere, Happy Gray or Black, Bitten into Sympathy, such awesome songs. I haven't listened to this album in a while, so I slipped my mind. I really got to give it another listen, but it's just every song is great, and it serves a purpose on the album, which is, of course, great to the flow. So I'm gonna give this album a 9.5. It's one of the best debut albums ever made, in my opinion. I love it. I think it's awesome. And if you are a fan of heavy music, heavy experimental music, you really need to check these guys out. And if you haven't, you should. So thank you. I have all-seeing eyes for being my brother in arms when it comes to the Melvins. Hope this review satisfied you. And yeah, I will continue to get to you guys' requests, and thanks again for 100 subs. You guys are awesome. See you guys next time.